What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 173 of the Tastecast, our weekly podcast, and the best gaming podcast anywhere. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy on my left, your right. Chevy, hopefully you're doing really good. Hopefully you're ready to talk a lot this week. We got this Tastecast you guys are watching right now. Then we got Plus Club we got to do this week. And then we got Game of the Month, where we will be discussing The Last of Us Part 2 and revealing the community's pick for Game of the Month. Make sure to vote on this video. Just type in a game name. It'll go on the list. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Heading in October, so outside of gaming,
Spooky season.
a lot of anime releasing next month, so I'll be busy with that.
Yeah.
I also know that Square's onslaught of games are starting to release right now too. So
There's a demo for the Valkyrie game, I heard.
and for Harvestella,
Yep.
and I
Shit.
think that's it.
I need to try
But
those.
I think Valkyrie came out on console.
It's already out.
Yeah, it's coming
Okay.
out later on PC, so I'm
I haven't
just
seen
gonna
a
wait.
review for it yet.
But I could be wrong. The way their Twitter sounds, it sounds like it's either out or very, very soon. But I haven't tried the demo for that or Harvestella. I want to, but I also don't, because I just know the way Square's been handling their demos is it's like a chunk of the game and you get to keep your save type of deal. But I don't plan on playing Harvestella on Switch. I plan on playing it on PC. So
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it'd be kind of cool to play it on Switch, but yeah, if it's on PC, I'm gonna play it there for
Yeah.
sure. Because I just know I'll sit here and play it more than if I pick up my Switch or not.
yeah, that Valkyrie and is Star Ocean this year? I think it is.
Probably. It seems like they're just like, as soon as, like you said, the onslaught starts, they're just gonna start fucking coming out.
Yeah, and it's gonna be for like 2 years, which
Yeah.
is like insane to me. So I don't have free time, man.
Yeah, same.
But
I really feel that the last 2 weeks. So we've really had to cram in a lot of channel stuff in like the last couple days because of how busy it's been for the last 2 weeks. Speaking of anime, though, in October, we just watched all of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and we had an hour-long review of that over on the Tasty Flicks channel. So if you want to see what we thought of Edge Runners and an overall discussion on how it has supported Cyberpunk 2077, make sure to go check out that review. It was a really good conversation. I actually listened to it as I do with everything that we create, just to make sure it's worth listening to. And I enjoyed, it sounds narcissistic, I enjoyed listening to us talk about it. So I thought it was a good conversation. Hopefully you guys will as well. So go check that out. And if you haven't watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners, check it out because it's on Netflix and everybody's got Netflix. So
in lots of languages.
true. Yeah. And then, quick reminders, Need for Speed, Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Toem are the games still for PlayStation Plus. Make sure to play those. Come back probably Saturday for... No. Friday. Wait. Friday for Plus Club.
Soon.
We've got a lot going on, and we'll be discussing those and talking about the new ones. They did announce them. It's like a Hot Wheels game, Injustice 2, and there's a third one that I completely forgot. Oh, I think it's Super Hot.
Yes.
Yeah. Those will be the PlayStation Plus games for October. So anyway, that's coming up. And then Last of Us Part 2 is our game of the month. We'll be discussing that. That will be like Saturday. And then we'll be revealing your guys' pick. So again, type in a game in the comments here, and we'll add to the list, and we will figure that out at the end of the week. All right, so Tastecast, let's jump into what we've been playing. Let's start with you.
Okay. My list is relatively short, to be honest, because last week I didn't really play a lot. I've been playing catch up on Bleach because the new season's coming out next month. So, but I played some Final Fantasy 14. We got people on. We're able to raid, and then even when the one person we have who has like an end time was leaving, we still had someone. Our backup was also available so we were able to actually go for twice as long, which was really nice. Anyone who plays and is doing the Savage tier right now, we are on the first fight still, and we're still working our way through the mechanic called Devour. Just kind of a quick explanation on how that goes. there's a mechanic where the boss will start like leaping all over the room and hit you once. It'll take a lot of your health and then incapacitate your character from moving, and you'll probably get hit again and it kills you. So we got the circle one down pretty easily because basically like a marker will go all over the arena and it's a memory game on where he's going to land at that point.
Okay.
My brain doesn't work that way very well, but fortunately we have people in the group who can watch it and call out what it's going to be.
Got that photographic memory.
Yeah. The one that's throwing me off still is one they just refer to it as zigzag, but it's basically like a Z pattern that happens back and forth, and that one throws me off every time for some reason. So trying to get the hang of that so we can get past that. And then apparently that's kind of like the hard part of the fight. If you can do everything before that, you can do everything after it pretty easily. So I feel like in another week or two, because we don't have long raid nights, we should be able to get through that and move on to hopefully the next fight. So been fun. The only problem I have with it most of the time is adults have adult lives and aren't always available. So consistency is a little rough. So, but yeah, that's been fun. What else have I played? I played a little bit of Ark, not a lot.
Saw Josh was on there, dude.
Josh's been playing a lot. I feel bad because I haven't had, honestly, it's mostly been time. I haven't had time to hop on. Because we were gone 1 week, and then you were gone a second week. And then this week we've been kind of just like between filming and like, doing other channel related things.
Playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. I haven't had any opportunity to hop in. So hopefully he sticks around by the time I get some free time so I can hop in there and play some more. But yeah, so in that kind of and I've said this a couple times now, but we're kind of at a stuck point where we mostly need to like bump up our dinosaurs to start doing boss fights. We have caught a couple of the ones we need. We just need to make an army of them at this point, and then collect all the materials to open the boss doors and start doing that. So that should be fun once we get there. Otherwise, resource wise, we're pretty much through everything. I don't think there's any resources we don't have access to at this point. So leveling is kind of the part that hinders you from all the recipes. But I think once we get the boss fights unlocked, that'll be chunks of EXP we'll be able to get to keep to leveling and hopefully get some more of those recipes. But yeah, just kind of in a grind spot right now, and I'm not complaining. I enjoy playing the game, but there's not usually a lot to report on in that.
What level are you now?
I'm 76. The cap's 100, I think. Well, I think it's technically higher than that if you do certain things. But
Because remember last time we were talking about, I think you were also 70 something.
like 70.
Yeah,
71.
so apparently it's slowed down quite a bit.
A lot. Yeah, because the things I'm doing just aren't giving that much XP. I pretty much need to be like killing stuff at this point. So, or building with materials that honestly I feel are better suited for weapons and not house upgrades. So, because metal, though very accessible for us, is still something you have to like take the time to gather and then smelt down to bars and then build into these things, and then the weight becomes a factor in that too. We don't live close to metal, so we have to transport it. It just it's work essentially, and it's not like we're playing PvP, so we don't need the extra defense or anything. So it would literally just be because we can, and I'm just trying to get EXP, so I'll just get through killing at this point and taming. So yeah, free time is the thing I need right now, and I haven't had a lot of it. So
True.
yeah. I don't think I played anything else. I think that's it.
No Cyberpunk 2077?
I installed it, but I installed it during this week when we've been busy. So
Good intentions of playing it?
at least hopping in a little bit. I never beat the game, so like as long as Steam has my save file, should be good to go.
Yeah, I think I want to start over, make a new character, because I have finished the game, and then definitely check out the Edge Runners DLC because it's. I mean, we discussed this extensively in our review, but I think it's neat that they made something to go along with it. So I would like to experience it.
Well, I think they also just in the patch alone added a bunch of new guns too. So
They added, I think, 2 or a couple of them, yeah. But they added a bunch of little things. But I would like to see where the state of the game is at, and because last time I played it, it was fine. And then, and when I last played it, there was like a huge update where like NPCs would like look at you and stuff when they're walking, which was kind of nice. It seems like a no duh kind of thing, but like they did feel a little more robotic before that update. But I barely played, so I'd like to see how much they did with that update. And then yeah, by now they've done small things and now done the Edge Runners thing, so definitely want to check all that out.
yeah. Plus, it'd be good to be get everything all tidied up because I think they have a DLC they are making for it.
An expansion, yeah.
Expansion, yeah.
Yeah, Phantom Liberty.
Right.
Which I am really excited to see what they do with that. Hopefully, they said this is the only one they're making, which kind of sucks because everybody assumed they're going to do 2 of them. I think they said that at one point. So if they are, in fact, only going to do 1, which, you know, people say things, I never take it too serious. They could make a second one if this one does well.
Money talks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime people are like, no, I'm like, no, dude, like it's dependent on the financial situation. Like if they start like raking in money from this, they're not going to go like, well, we did say we're not going to do it. So
yeah,
fuck all that money. What was I talking about though? Oh, I'm hoping if this is the only one that they're doing, it's big.
Yeah,
it does something huge. Hopefully, it adds like features and stuff too. We only saw like the teaser for it, so hopefully it's something really crazy. So, what else you been playing? Nothing.
That's it.
Nothing. Okay. So I have been playing catch up the last couple of days. I have not been getting a whole lot of sleep, so I've been feeling kind of drained. Maybe that's why I seem a little like blah, 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 blah. But also been hitting the gym again, coming back from vacation, trying to get that going again. So baby's tired, but I've been squeezing in games and been playing the PlayStation Plus games mostly because I already played them earlier in the month, but I need the footage. So played them again, all of them. So that's Need for Speed, Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Toem. We'll be talking about that at the end of the week. And then we have been making a last-ditch effort to get some time in on The Last of Us Part 2. We've been making progress because we're playing together just to kind of, it's like a 24-hour game, 28 or something like that. So we're just trying to get through as much of it as we can. And for... without talking about the game itself and what we think of it, because we will be discussing that game of the month, just so you guys know what's going on with that. I'm playing New Game Plus because I finished the game before. Chevy has never even really seen anything. Apparently, you avoided spoilers, which is insane. And so
they follow Zero Gaming on Twitter these days. So
yeah, well, that's probably for the best. And we are heading towards day 2 in the game, so I'll leave it there. That's where we're at in the game, though. So no promises of us being able to finish the game by the time we do Game of the Month, but we are making a lot of progress, and yeah, we'll have a discussion. But it'd be best if we can get further into it so I can discuss more of it, because it will be a full spoiler discussion. So, if you haven't played that, I will warn you guys again on that episode. Okay, so games I can talk about, though. Played a little bit of Shatterline, which, in case you guys don't know, is a free-to-play game on Steam. I think it does plan on coming out to console. And I was playing that before the Modern Warfare 2 beta, which I'll talk about, and before I got really into Izanzo. And what it is, it's kind of a Call of Duty-esque game, kind of a hero shooter, but it plays more like Call of Duty, so it's not like everybody's like a bullet sponge. And it's pretty fun. It's in this time where we've been in this like drought of FPSs, which seems to be getting corrected pretty quickly soon. It's kind of served its purpose as like a decent shooter. It's got like team deathmatch type stuff. It has an escort mode like Overwatch. Do you see Overwatch is going to record your voice chat at all times, and you're going to have to register your phone number to play the game?
Not that surprised, sadly.
So that they can make you agree that you're not going to be an asshole in their game, and they'll be able to track you. Like, I'm just like, holy shit. That cannot be the future of gaming, guys. Reject this shit. Anyway, it's got an escort mode, like Overwatch, where, you know, one team is escorting the payload, the other team's trying to defend against that. So, you know, if you want to not play Overwatch, you can play this, I guess. Other games offered as well. And it has a really interesting system of there's 5 tiers of weapons. There's like an assault rifle, sniper rifle, shotgun, SMG, pistol, and as you level that up, you get attachments for those weapons. But then we get to a certain point, you get to tier 2, and it's a whole new list of those guns, but different versions. So like a whole new assault rifle with different properties, a whole new sniper rifle with different properties, and yeah, so you have 5 tiers of that. So what's that? That's like 25 guns in total. 5 tiers.
5 and 5, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a pretty interesting system. I don't know if I'm in love with it, but it's interesting. It's enough for me to go like, well, this is different. So kind of digging that. One of my favorite things about the game, though, is it has this multiplayer mode that's very serviceable. I think the aiming feels kind of wonky. It's like the one thing that kind of drives me nuts about the game. But outside of that, it's a very serviceable FPS to play. A lot of cool abilities, a lot of cool guns. But it has a roguelite mode where you go on runs with 2 other people, so 3 people, and it's got this big open map, and it sends you in directions to find things, and then random missions will pop up as you're on your way to your main mission, and you go do those, fight enemies that'll spawn there, and then random perks and weapons will drop from a crate from those things. You can kind of build up your character and try and get as far as you can. You can evac at certain points in it to leave for, you know, whatever rewards you have at the time, or go further with you know, the difficulty going up at that point, so you could lose everything. It's a pretty fun mode. It needs a little more work to make it a little more interesting, but like, you know, it's serviceable, it works. But the thing that's cool about it is like all your progress on your weapons translates to the multiplayer component. So I heard somebody saying like, you know, maybe somebody's not that good in the multiplayer, but they feel like they're being held back from like tier 3 because they can't get the kills they need to get through the tiers to unlock new weapons. People are like, you can play that mode, do the co-op, you know, level shit up from there.
Right.
So I think it's a smart thing to show the progress on both sides like that. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I don't know if I'm going to be playing it by the time Modern Warfare 2 comes out, but as of right now, it's been very serviceable, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to play a free-to-play first-person shooter. So that is Shatterline. Also, it's pretty neat because it is a Ukrainian dev team that that made it, which, you know, during the times we are in right now, it's amazing that they're able to get it out. So definitely cool to see a game from that part of the world. So let's see. I played and am playing and have been playing a shitload of Isonzo Italian Front, which is made by the same people. I forgot their name, but the same people who make Verdun, and they make another game too. Starts with a T. I don't remember what it's called. They have 3 of them. They're all different fronts of World War One. So Isonzo is based in Italy, and it's a first-person shooter. It is more akin to like Battlefield. It has one mode, and that mode is one team starts at the attacking end, and the other team starts as defense. And the maps are all these huge, long maps. It's like rush mode kind of in Battlefield, where you keep pushing the front back, and the other team's trying to defend. And I've been having an absolute fucking blast with this game. It's funny because you look at it. I posted a video on TikTok about it, and somebody's like, "Was this game like old? Did it come out a long time ago?" I'm like, "Nope, brand new. It's a brand new game." Because you look at it, I don't think it's a bad looking game, but it definitely looks like an indie game.
Yeah.
But when you're playing it, the features is what really makes it interesting. So, you know, it's World War One, so every weapon is like you know, like a bolt action rifle. There's pistols, but it's kind of cool because if you use a revolver, you can shoot faster than like a bolt action rifle can, but it doesn't have the range. And also you have to reload every single bullet back into that revolver. There's a pistol. They have to feed the bullets back into it, and it takes a while. And so there's kind of like pros and cons to using both. There's also, and I haven't used one yet, but there's like very early versions of LMGs that it seems like you have to like get in position to shoot with them, but you can carry them. I haven't seen anybody running and gunning with them. That would be very it wouldn't feel right in that game. They even have a gun that's 2 guns welded together, and they both have their own clips, and you just are essentially shooting 2 guns from one position. So it's really interesting to see. I don't know much about Italy in World War One, so it's really interesting to see all this authentic weaponry from that era. But yeah, the maps are really really a lot of fun. They're super detailed, very varied in their locations. There's like mountainous regions and forested regions you fight in, buildings you can go in. But yeah, it's got a lot of really cool systems. So I started playing Officer, which you can only have 2 of those on your team at a time. And officers start with a pistol and a flare gun, and they're able to call stuff in. So when you have a flare gun, you can shoot it in the air, and if you open up your map, you'll actually see where the flare will go on the map. And when you shoot it, wherever it lands, it gives you visibility to call things in.
Okay.
And other people can shoot flares as well, and they'll start putting dots on the map. And when you go over to the radio, which only you can access if you're the officer, you have these a bunch of things you can call in, but they're all on cooldown. And it's interesting because like the first tier of cooldowns go fast, and once those are done, the second tier is almost done. And when those are done, the third tier is almost done. So if you want like the really good stuff, you got to wait longer. But if you want like, to drop some smoke in the area or something basic, you'll get those quicker. But you call those in, but you have to call them in wherever the flare dropped. So there is a team element to calling things in. You can even like request flares, so people will, drop them in for you. And if you want some really easy XP, play Officer, because you're just getting passive XP for spotting bonuses, dropping things in. They also have a whistle, which has 2 things. You can, when you pull your whistle out, you're able to either tell people to go to a place, and anytime your team goes to that point, you get XP.
Okay.
So it's incentivizing you to tell people where to go, and when they do it, you get rewarded. So a lot of times I'll like push with everybody, and when I get to the point that we're trying to take, I just spot that point. And even if I die, people are trying to take that point, and I'm just getting XP. So I'm like, this is fucking great. And then the other thing they can do every 60 seconds, I think, or 50 seconds, is they're able to whistle for reinforcements, which makes respawns on your team instant. And so if you're not staying on top of that, people in the chat will start bitching. Like, officers, we shouldn't be having any delays, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, I'm waiting. Like, I got 5 seconds of the cooldown. But if you have 2 officers, you should be able to kind of keep that going. But yeah, it's a really interesting system because you have to be involved. And then, like, if you play, like some kind of rifleman, you're essentially there just as cannon fodder. You're around shooting things. But as you play, you like... you unlock like grenades, and some people can like build things like places to get more grenades or more ammo. One of the guys can build like a periscope, which is really interesting. So if you're in the trenches, you don't have to put your head over to get shot.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
So like there'll just be a periscope there that people are like looking through to spot things. And then there's a scout dude who has an increased run speed, but and he has binoculars, and he's able to mark targets. So not everybody can spot targets, only that guy can. And then when you kill those targets, that person gets XP. So, and the shooting's super tight. The guns feel awesome. That's probably my favorite part about it. You point a gun at somebody, pull the trigger. If it's not the side of their thigh, they go down, especially with a rifle. Pistol, sometimes 2 shots. But, I'm the kind of guy who likes like hardcore search and destroy, and like Call of Duty, I like, Hunt Showdown and Tarkov type games. So I like, the more hardcore experiences, and Izanzo definitely offers that. So, yeah, all in all though, I've been really enjoying it. I've been playing the shit out of it. When I get in a groove in that game, I just can play it for hours. So that's nice, because I normally will play a game for like an hour or 2. I'm like, all right, I'm good, and I'll just go fucking do something else. And yeah, I highly recommend it. I think, no, I was going to say, I think it's only on PC, but I had somebody correct me and tell me it was on Xbox. So, and I think it's on PlayStation. I typed it in. I searched for it when I was gone, and DLC came up for it on PSN, but not the game. So I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's really weird. So I think it's on everything. I highly recommend it if you like a more slower paced World War I style Battlefield experience, especially with Battlefield not really existing anymore. We haven't had a good Battlefield in like 2 Battlefields. So yeah, if there's a Battlefield hole shape in your heart, play as Zonzo because it's really good. I highly recommend it. Okay, and then the last thing I played was the Modern Warfare 2 beta, Call of Duty. I'm sure a lot of people played this, and I did as well. I didn't want to play it too much because your progress is not going to move over, so I was just kind of felt like I was wasting my time progressing in it, I guess. But what can I say about it? So I'm of the camp that the last good Call of Duty was Modern Warfare 2019. This is the sequel to that one. I didn't like Cold War, but it's a Franken-COD, so like, you know, I understand the circumstances of why it was not as good as it could have been. I know some people really liked it. And then Vanguard. Vanguard was okay. It's better than I thought it was going to be, but it's not great. So that's kind of where I'm at. So going into this, I had high hopes, and for the most part, they're met. I remember when Josh hopped on with me. He's like, so what do you think of it? Like, without playing with me yet. And I was like, this is the best Call of Duty has ever felt gameplay-wise. 100%. It's never felt better than this. But the game modes are what I expect. And I almost feel like it's muscle memory at this point to play these game modes. They're not really, involving me too much mentally anymore. And the maps are okay. They're not bad. I've had a couple people tell me like, no, they're really good, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying they're bad. They're not amazing.
There's no middle in today's world. So.
Exactly. And so that's pretty much where I'm at. So this game has features in it that I want most first-person shooters to have. There's a run, and then there's the tactical run. I think that's what it's called, where you're running faster, but your gun's up. So there's kind of a risk there, but it gets you places faster. That was in the 2019 version as well. Really great feature. I think a couple of the games have tried that. I'd like to see more do it. It's a really cool thing. Call of Duty in the past has had a dive button before, but they got rid of that. I think I was in Black Ops, and that's it. I don't even remember. Maybe another one. There might have been 2. And that was always a lot of fun, but it was always like, why? Like, you can do it, but why? People would like dive out windows and shit just because they could. And then the standard became slide onto your knees. And that's in like so many shooters now. It's not even COD that does that only. It's a bunch of games. And so that's kind of the expected thing. Well, in this game, they have both. So when you're running, you can slide down behind cover on your knees, or while you're running, you can hold the button. And I played on PS5 and PC. And so on PC, you hit the crouch button while you're running and you'll slide. And if you hit the lay down button, you'll dive. But on console, it's smart. You just either press it or hold it and you'll dive. And the thing I really like about that is just kind of adds options in combat. I almost never dive, but I have a couple times. Like when I'm playing like Domination, I'm taking like B or something. I'll like run in there, I'll just dive onto the ground and start taking and hold the position. But sliding around your knees, I do that more often. They have a delay now, so you can't slide around corners shooting. That was a big thing for a while, and it's been a pretty mixed thing. Some people are really upset about that. I'm not. I hate that shit. Not in all games, in Call of Duty. Because a lot of people are like, well, it's a skill thing. Like, if people can't get good at sliding around shooting, that's on them. And I'm like, yeah, but it's goofy.
Yeah.
That's my fucking problem. Just like the jump shooting. Some people are like, well, if you can't handle, I'm like, no. It's not a handle thing. I do it as well now because people are also doing it. So I'm like, might as well. I don't want the game to be that, though. I don't want to be playing this military shooter where everybody's just sliding around on the ground and jumping around and shooting. It's just like you got this like ultra realistic looking gameplay. You have a mounting system. You can hang off stuff and shoot over it. And you got people just running around sliding and jumping around. I hate that shit. So In this, they've delayed when you can pull your gun up when you're sliding. I appreciate that. But what I was just talking about, bunny hopping is very prevalent, at least in the beta, and I'm sure it will be in the game. As soon as you jump, you start shooting. I would like to see when you jump, your gun's kind of down, and maybe as you're coming down, you can maybe pull your gun up. I'd be okay with that. I would like them to take away completely, but I can be met in the middle. Hopefully they do something about it, but if they don't, I'm not the type to whine about it. It's just really goofy looking to watch so many people jump around corners. And half the time, I just shoot them and kill them anyway when they're jumping. It's just stupid to watch everybody doing that. So yeah, that's something. And then the mount system's back, which is really nice. You can mount up on anything. This is something that Battlefield played around with a while back. I think Battlefield 3 or 4, I don't remember. You can mount certain things. And then in Modern Warfare 2019, there's like you can mount on any surface. And it's amazing. And that's one feature I wish every first-person shooter had. Unless it's like a game like Halo, you're like running and hitting each other a lot and shooting. I don't really need it there. But in a game like this, it's like perfect. It's such a good system. Some people argue the mount is useless, and I'm like, I'm not using it all the time. Every once in a while, like, you know, I'm running, I see some people, I mount up, and then your stability goes up, so you're able to just like put more rounds into people easier. It's a really good thing. It's all options. That's the thing I really love about the gameplay of this one is it just allows so many options for scenarios, and that's something Call of Duty's always been really good about since the original Modern Warfare is options. You know, before that FPSs you just shot each other a lot, and then they added like, you know, these like kill streaks and perks and all that stuff that really adds a lot of flavor and dimensions to combat. And this truly feels like an evolution of that in the way that you move and are able to combat people. So I really like a lot of the options. And then they've added buttery smooth vaulting. I was like, whoa, they got this animation down. There's a point where I jumped onto a bench, and behind the bench was an elevated like railing to a staircase behind it, and I just went like boom, boom, and just like jumped over them like almost like I was gliding over them. It was really nice. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, you can now though, like in any game that allows it, if there's like a wall, you can grab it and climb over it. But now if you don't, it's funny, instinctually when you do that in games, at least I do, I'll sit there and mash the button to get over the fucking wall quickly, or the railing, or whatever I'm trying to jump over. And so I didn't notice it in the beta at first, but if you don't click it a second time, you'll actually just hang off of that ledge. And then if you have a pistol in your loadout, you can actually aim over.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of crazy to see in a first-person shooter, because that's something you would expect in like a Splinter Cell or something like that. Mm-hmm. Also, what's kind of cool too is if you have a primary rifle, whatever you're using, and you have a secondary pistol, if you go to pull your pistol, like Call of Duty's always had it so like your pistol will come out faster than your rifle. That's kind of like an advantage. Like if you need to pull it, you can pull it quicker than your rifle. Like you're reloading, pull your pistol real quick. Now they've changed the animation to the point where when you're holding your rifle, you'll actually pull it over to the side and pull your pistol out.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's just like those small details are like is what's making Infinity Ward the Call of Duty like dev again. Is they're actually evolving the game, whereas like I think Treyarch is still just trying to like keep it feeling classic and fast paced and crazy. And you know, I tell the people who want to slide around their knees in Call of Duty to go play the Treyarch Call of Duties at this point, because they're definitely trying to keep that stuff alive. Whereas like Infinity Ward is definitely trying to evolve it into something more than it has been. They're even adding, it wasn't in the beta, but they're adding a DMZ mode that sounds like it's going to be like Tarkov or Hunt style game where you go into a place and extract.
Okay.
And so that'll be really cool. So they're definitely going in that direction of making like a more hardcore, realistic style shooter. So that's pretty cool. As for modes, everything's pretty much as expected, except for there's like a hostage mode, which I never saw hostage in, because one team would eliminate the other team faster than finding the objective. So that was interesting. There's a mode called Invasion, which I still don't understand the point of it. It is a huge, large scale map with I think 40 people on the map, and AI enemies get dropped off in it too. So you always have things to shoot at, even if it's not a player. There's like AI on their team and your team, and that's kind of a cool thing. But the AI is not smart. They'll just like walk in lines and take their time walking upstairs and shit. But there's no objective. It's just kill the other team and get points. And so it's like this huge team death match with AI in it. And so I'm playing it, I'm like, it's kind of neat they got a big map with AI, but like, I'm already not a big team deathmatch guy. It's so like mind numbing for me to play that. So to do it like at large scale is like not interesting to me. But I've heard a lot of people say they like it. So that's cool if you like it. Search Destroy's back though. Domination's back. All the things that, you expect from Call of Duty. Gunsmith is interesting. Especially in the beta, because you could unlock certain guns, but you couldn't level certain guns. And I assume that's because it's the beta. They don't want you to see what it's like to level them up. But then to unlock weapons, you have to, I'm still not sure how it works. Because I was like level like 17 or 18. I mean, I didn't even unlock a new weapon yet, which was really annoying. I hope that's just a beta thing. But you can change out the receiver, the main part of the gun, to a different type of gun. So like an SMG receiver on your M16 you were just using, and it changes it into an SMG essentially, but you can keep like the parts you were just using as a rifle. So you can really start changing your gun into whatever the hell you want it to be.
Okay.
Which is really cool, but also I saw a lot of people saying it's overly complicated. I didn't think so, but I could see why somebody would think that. It is kind of weird, but I get what they're trying to do too. They're trying to give you like total freedom on how you build your gun. I don't understand the unlocking system. I did unlock some guns after a while, but I don't know what the caveat to that was. I just all of a sudden had a receiver for I think it's called assault. I don't know if it's not assault rifle. It was pretty much semi-auto weapons. I received the receiver for that, and hopped over and started using that and did pretty well with that. It was putting people down like 2 shots, but I don't know how I did it. It just all of a sudden was like, here you go. And I was like, okay, I should have had a new gun like at level 5. So that was kind of lame. And then yeah, the maps are they're fine. They're not bad. I'm not in love with any of them though. Some of them feel almost too big. There's like a museum level that has some cool stuff going on in it, but it feels huge for the amount of people that are on that map. And then a lot. So I was talking with some people about this, and I think Treyarch makes the better maps of Call of Duty, and that might change because I used to think Infinity Ward was the best dev for COD, and I was like, Treyarch is now the best dev for COD, and now I'm like, Infinity Ward is again. But I still feel like Treyarch makes more interesting maps that are kind of built for more competitive play, but then we'll start feeling kind of like arenas, whereas like Infinity Ward's maps feel like sandboxes. They're really big and open and have a lot of directions to go, which I dig, but it does start to feel like you're just running down big alleyways and vacant, hollowed out structures, buildings. They can go upstairs and run downstairs, but it's just like they all kind of feel like training ranges. It's really weird. So, which is fine. It allows a lot of opportunity to go about the map in different ways. But there's not a whole lot of personal flair to them that make them really like stand out to me. So I got 2 of the maps confused. We played one, Josh had never played it, and then we started another match, and it was a different map, but I thought it was the same map. He's like, oh, I haven't played this one yet. I'm like, this is the one we just played. He's like, is it? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And he was like, I don't think it is. I'm like, no, it definitely is. And then I ran around a corner. I'm like, wait, no, this is not the same map. But my brain was like, yeah, it is. So it looked very similar. But yeah, they're fine. They're fine. I just I hope there's at least one map by the time the game comes out that's like really good. What else? Guns feel good. Aiming feels tight. This isn't Shatterline. This is AAA Call of Duty, so it feels really good. It does have that realistic flare, so guns have quite a bit of recoil. You're not shooting laser guns, which is nice. You have operators again. I don't think they have anything specific about them outside of the way they look, so that's preferable. That was one mistake that Battlefield made in creating these hero-style operators, which they're reversing now, which is ridiculous. And yeah, overall it was a lot of fun. I only got to I think I got to 26 in the beta, but I was like, I don't want to keep playing this because I don't want to get burnt out on this game before it even fucking releases. It's coming out soon. But it's really good. I'm really stoked on it. And I do think Infinity Ward's making the best Call of Duties now. I am stoked to play the story. I'm stoked to play more multiplayer. Yeah, so overall, really cool. And I think that's everything I've been playing. All shooters. It's funny, a couple weeks ago, before vacation, I've been talking a lot about lack of first-person shooters, and how I haven't even been playing any lately. And then recently, I just find myself playing more and more of them. So it's starting to get to the point where I'm starting to just want to play that genre of game again. But the options are fairly minimal. But slowly, we're getting more and more. And some of the videos we have to watch here will show there's more down the pipeline. So anything else you want to talk about? No? All right. Well, let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games do you want to play? What games would you recommend us play? Have you played, first off, have you played Shatterline? Have you played Izanzo? And I'm sure plenty of you have played the Modern Warfare 2 beta. If you have, let me know your honest opinions about it. What'd you like? What didn't you like? I see a lot of people being very opinionated about it. Most people seem to be very positive on the game, but some people are upset with the footstep sound effects and the TTK. I think the TTK should be. I think it should take less bullets to kill people. I think people are on the opposite end of that, though. I think people want it to be Halo, and I don't agree. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts about everything we talked about and Modern Warfare 2 in the comments below. All right, so we got a couple of videos to watch today, and I'm actually really excited to talk about some of these. But before we do that, we're going to mix up things a bit. As you guys know, we got Tasty Flicks. That's our movies, anime, and TV channel. Make sure to go subscribe to that for essentially anime. We've been doing mostly anime stuff over there, but I do plan on doing movie reviews once again soon. But this kind of coincides in both realms. The Last of Us has an official teaser. It's coming out on HBO Max. I haven't watched this teaser yet. But yeah, it's based off a video game, so we're going to cover it here. And I'll probably just upload this on Tasteflix as well. So yeah, The Last of Us official teaser on HBO Max. Before we watch this and finally see what this is looking like, do you have any anticipation for this? Are you interested in watching this? I know you do like The Last of Us. And we'll talk about Last of Us Part 2 because we are currently playing that soon. But what's your general thoughts?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really have a whole lot on it. I pretty much have discarded the idea of watching television or even honestly movies. So if it looks good and then it comes out and people say it's good, I'll probably be inclined to want to maybe check it out. But other than that, I have pretty non-existent expectations of TV these days. So
yeah. I'm kind of in the same page, except for when it comes to HBO. I think HBO still makes some quality content, so I'm glad to see that if there is going to be a Last of Us show, that's going to be on HBO. Even with some of the stuff that some of the other streaming services are trying to provide in premium quality shows, it still seems like they all can't hit the same stride as HBO has been able to do. So I'm glad they went with this. But yeah, I agree. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV either. I still haven't watched Rings of Power. Is that what it's called? The Lord of the Rings show?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't watched that, and the Game of Thrones prequel. I forgot what it's called. I haven't watched that either. So yeah, I haven't been watching things except for anime lately. So, which I know you can relate to.
Yep, that and YouTube are pretty much the only things I watch. So
Yeah. So my thoughts, though, I'm a huge Last of Us fan. I love the original Last of Us. I will reserve what I think of Last of Us Part 2 for our review. So, I should be excited for this, but my thing is I don't think The Last of Us really needed a show or a movie. That's where I'm kind of at with like Metal Gear Solid as well. I'm like, they already exist as a cinematic experience that you can play. I'm not opposed to it, these things happening, but I just feel like they're unneeded. So hopefully they can do something that merits doing this. I know they got Pedro Pascal playing Joel, which I don't know how to feel about that. He's a good actor. He's good in like The Mandalorian and a bunch of other things he's been in, Game of Thrones. But he doesn't really look the part, and neither does the girl, I forgot her name, playing Ellie. But if they play the parts well, I won't care. But I already know that they're changing some stuff in this from the game. And that's fine because I get it doesn't need to be the exact same. But and Neil Druckmann's actually overseeing this as well, so that's good. It'll at least have some authenticity there. But yeah, it has to offer something that I didn't get from the excellent game already. Because if the show's even like okay, that's fine, but the game still exists. So I'm just gonna want to lean in that direction. So yeah, to say I'm hyped for this, I can't. I don't know if I am hyped for this, but I will watch it for sure. I'm definitely curious on how they execute this. But yeah, maybe after watching this, I'll be really hyped for it though. Do you know anything about this?
Nope.
The show at all? Okay, so I guess we'll watch this and then we can discuss what we saw. And yeah, so this is Last of Us official teaser. In 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see what kind of song I get in trouble for.
The roses have faded, there's frost at my door. The
Some
birds
Firefly
in the morning
iconography.
don't sing anymore. The grass in the valley is starting to die, and out in the darkness the whippoorwills cry. The darkness is falling, the sky has turned gray.
Definitely got some visuals straight from the game, so that's good to see. Chernobyl's actually really good.
Oh Lord, if you hear me, please hold my hand. Alone and forsaken by fate and by man. Oh Lord,
This is your chance.
hear me, please hold my hand.
Our best shot.
Hold my hand.
You keep her alive.
Hold my hand. Please hold my hand.
And you set everything right.
Hold my hand. Please hold my hand.
Save her. You can save her.
Oh, please understand.
Coming out in 2023. Probably early, I assume, because it looks pretty done. All right, impressions.
I mean, tonally, it looks like, they have the right direction for it. I definitely recognized aspects of it from the game.
Which I can appreciate because that's one of the biggest complaints we always hear from people when it comes to video game movies is like they don't do anything that happened in the game really. They just will match outfits, match names, and after that it's just like their own thing. So it is nice to at least see the same scenarios.
Yeah. don't really have any, I guess, hard opinions about the casting. It's always a little jarring because, like, there's an established appearance, obviously, that we're used to. But the point of acting is to play a part. So without actually seeing them play that part, I can't really have a hard opinion. But initial impressions is I think the male actor looks pretty good. I think the character playing Ellie, or the person playing Ellie,
It's not a real person.
visually is pretty off. But again,
Yeah.
that's not 100% that important. So
You remember her from Game of Thrones, the little girl? She's like the little leader chick who gets killed at the end. Spoiler alert.
yeah, okay,
Yeah, it's her.
Gotcha. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks fine.
That's how I feel too. I think it looks fine. This is a Call of Duty map situation. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I think it looks fine. I am happy to see recognizable things because that is telling me Neil Druckmann's involved. He knows the people who bought his game and played his game and loved his game. So he's definitely given us something. But it's also going to be, it's got to be accessible to HBO Max viewers who have never played the game too. So that's kind of a balance you have to do. And it seems like it's going to be able to do that. The story of The Last of Us is a story I think transcends games in the sense of like, you don't got to be into video games to enjoy that story. So it is the perfect story to translate to a show for everybody. But I am glad that they are nodding at us, the gamers, the fans of the original game, with a lot of what we're seeing here. So I like that. I will be watching this for the performances and to see what they do differently, mostly, just because it does look very similar. So I could just play the game and enjoy the gameplay while also enjoying the amazing performances in that game. But yeah, I agree. Pedro Pascal, he looks fine visually, but I've seen him in things already, and he already does play that protective father type character in Mandalorian. So he's going to be able to do that just fine. I'm sure of it. She did fine in Game of Thrones. I know a lot of people really liked her. I forgot her name. I thought she was fine in it. She'll probably be fine here as well. But she definitely doesn't look like Ellie. But Ellie doesn't exist, so
Right.
it's gonna be hard to find somebody who looks like the character. And I always get kind of annoyed too when do your fan casting, that's fine, like it's fun or whatever, but some people will just try to cast people based off of how close they look to the character and not their range in acting. And I think the acting is more important than how much you look like the character. It would be nice if you did look closer to the character, but if you can't play, if you have like a shitty actor who looks like the person,
It's just gonna be a bad movie.
you're just gonna make a bad movie at that point. So if you get somebody who's a good actor, I'm gonna forget in 5 minutes about how they look because they're pulling it off. It's so much more important to me. But it is jarring at first, but we haven't watched it like you said. So without seeing the performances, we don't know.
The only reason it's jarring is because you have a preconceived.
I got Ellie and Joel in my head from the hours I put into The Last of Us, and now I'm looking at people who someone's telling me is Ellie and Joel. And so without seeing them in action, I can't go, oh, yeah, no, that's them. So, but then also when you translate anything from book to movie to video game to whatever, you have to allow it to be a translation and retelling of the story already. So you have to give it freedom to look different, do different things. If it's too far off, they don't respect the original property. But yeah, anyway, all in all, it looks quality. I am stoked to see the dude who worked on Chernobyl working on this, because that was really good. It does visually look similar too, and they got some good actors in here. So, but really, this trailer does just seem like it's for those people who don't know much about this. Are going, ooh, that looks cool. And for us who played the game, it's just going like, yeah, it's here it comes. Like this is what it's gonna look like. Like be ready. So on that, we didn't get a lot of, that wasn't like a story trailer or anything like that. That was just kind of a official teaser. So, and I thought it looked pretty decent. Looks like it's got a budget. not that it really needs one too much. I think the only thing I would really need a budget for is the clickers. Outside of that, it's a lot of people in desolate, remote areas doing a lot of dialogue. So, and then, shooting people. So, yeah. All in all, though, it looks cool, and I will definitely check it out, even if I'm not like super hyped for it. I feel like I have to watch it because I love the original game so much. So, anything else you want to say? All right, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think about The Last of Us official teaser. Did this do it for you? Did it not do it for you, or somewhere in between? What are some of your observations? What are some of the things you noticed? Some things that look similar to the game that you recognize, maybe some things that look completely different. What do you think about the casting? What do you think about the people playing these characters, and maybe you've seen them in other things that would have you hyped or concerned about them playing these characters? And what do you want from this show? If anything at all, let me know everything you think about in the comments below. All right, talking about shooters, a new shooter was revealed called The Finals. I actually saw this on Twitter. I have not watched the trailer, but I heard about this on Twitter via Jeff Keighley, who is always trying to jump at announcing and telling people about anything he can. He's already advertising for the Game Awards, and I'm just like, that motherfucker just is like 24/7 all year, every year, just getting ready for the next event. I did see a little bit of this though, and a couple things I want to kind of talk about that's interesting about this game is this and like 3 other games are coming out on Nexon soon. So apparently Nexon's going back full into putting out like actual PC games and not mobile games, because way back when they were like the premier free-to-play hub for games, and then they went to mobile for a while doing like phone stuff.
I'm playing one of their mobile games right now. So
yeah, and recently we're seeing the first Descendant, which is a Unreal Engine 5 almost Outriders style shooter that's coming out to Nexon. The Finals will be coming out on Nexon, or at least in partnership with Nexon. And I think Arc Raiders, which is the other game these guys are working on, they're working on 2 games right now, is also, I think, going to come out on Nexon, or at least in partnership with Nexon. I think Nexon has sold a game before, so I don't remember what that was, though. Interesting tidbit, though. The people making this game and Arc Raiders is called Embark, and it's ran by the guy who used to run DICE.
okay.
So it's interesting because people keep making the joke that that's why Battlefield 2042 sucked.
I mean, maybe
Is because I guess he took people from DICE with him to make Embark, and that's kind of interesting to see that not only has he did the Respawn thing and just like bailed from one company and created his own with a name, and is already producing 2 games at once. So that's pretty wild. So anyway, we'll watch this and we'll talk about more details on it. I know quite a bit about it because I was curious about it. And you've not seen or heard anything about this?
nothing.
All right, this is the Finals official alpha playtest trailer. Warning, flashing lights. Okay, thanks. In 3, 2, 1, and go.
In the finals, if you can see it, our contestants can probably destroy it. The arena has loaded. Here we go!
Looks good. Hey, there's that fucking Battlefield destruction everyone did in 2014. All right, what do we think?
So visually, like graphics wise, it looks pretty good, and the destructibility looks good. But that's kind of where it ends for me. I think the style is kind of dorky, and the Jedi Force powers that were constantly being used to pull things at you. I'm not really into that either. The foam thing, whatever that is, gives me kind of like Fifth Element vibes. Like is it Fifth Element? I can't remember. Instead of like a airbag in the car, the car fills up with foam or whatever. But I see it's like supposed to be like a utility, like wall or bridge making thing. So, but I mean, yeah, it very plainly to me, it just kind of looks like a competitive shooter that's meant to be a little more on the hyper side. So,
yeah. My impressions of it without the details. I think it looks really good graphically. It does kind of remind me of Battlefield visually. I mean, it's more cartoony looking, but like it's got like that soft glow to everything that Battlefield has, and it looks like it's trying to be realistic looking. So it's interesting. Also, the movement reminds me of Battlefield as well. So you can definitely tell people who worked on Battlefield are working on this. The destructibility is very interesting to me because that's something people are still not really doing a whole lot in anything really. I mean, like Red Faction Guerrilla came out a long time ago with insanely impressive destructibility, and we haven't seen anything like that in a long fucking time. Really weird to me. And so to see a online shooter where the buildings are being ripped up and they're collapsing, seems like where Levolution in Battlefield 4 should have went and didn't. It's really weird. So it's so interesting how much stuff in this reminds me of what Battlefield should have went towards. Not that it needed to be hyper, all the buildings are collapsing nonstop kind of game, but it does seem like a lot of the DNA from where Battlefield was going originally is kind of here, which is interesting. Gameplay looks cool to me just because I do like fast-paced shooters, hyper shooters. TTK will matter, but there's no way to tell right now because I haven't played it. But and we didn't see enough gameplay to really tell how many bullets it takes to take people out. But it does look cool. One concern I had when I saw this originally, the little clip that I did see, is I was worried that it's a battle royale. I read an interview, though, that they clarified this is not a battle royale, so that's good. They also said that it's not a hero shooter. They call it a hero builder, so I don't know what the fuck that means. But it's cool that they kind of already kind of cleared up some of that stuff. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. If it is going to be a free-to-play game, I'll be curious to see how they do microtransactions because that will kill the game for me if they are egregious. I don't care how fun it is because I like premium games. So and it just feels kind of like a waste sometimes when you get a game that looks really cool, really exciting, and then like it's held back by like battle passes and cosmetics and all these things that you got to pay for. Which I guess a lot of premium games do that as well, but it's just more likely to be in a free-to-play game in more egregious ways. The fire looks amazing in this, and the lighting looks really good. It looked like we had some night scenes there, which are pretty cool. And guns look pretty decent. Can't really tell a whole lot here. The Jedi mind trick power thing, I don't know why you're doing that. And in a fast-paced shooter, I don't know how inclined I'm going to want to be to just be sucking things up and throwing them. It seems like I'd rather just point the gun at things and shoot. But with the destructibility, kind of makes sense if you find like a explosive can or something like that to shoot it into the wall.
They also definitely are taking into consideration the, I'll just say international market with the dead people turning into money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair point. Especially if it's coming out on Nexon. I'm sure Tencent owns a part of Nexon.
Probably.
I'd be surprised if they don't. But yeah, good observation because I didn't think about that. A couple things I read, though, that I thought were kind of interesting is I guess almost everything is destructible. Almost everything on this map, which is, regardless if you like destructibility or not, is impressive. It's pretty wild that they created an engine or whatever engine they're using. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Unreal 5, but I don't know. Pretty crazy that you're going to be able to destroy like everything. They said they want every match to feel like it's evolving as you're going and giving you new opportunities and new ways to play in every moment. So that's pretty cool sounding to me as well. That foam gun, I guess, you can build bridges with it, as we saw in the trailer, but also it will hold things together. So if a building's starting to collapse or break or walls are starting to fall over, you're going to be able to glue them together, which is kind of crazy to me as well. Although I don't know if that's going to be a component of the game where you have to constantly be pulling that thing out to do that, in which might be cool, but also might be kind of annoying. But, you know, with the stagnation in FPSs, I'm open for people trying new things. Yeah, I forgot if they said anything else that was really... They said that hero builder thing, but I don't know what the hell that meant. Unless they're meaning that you're playing hero dudes and building. I don't know if they're going for the Fortnite crowd with this game.
You might just pick perks as you go.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure there'll be more details as they go. But for me, as a first-person shooter fan, I am definitely interested in this. The biggest thing that I'm not interested in is that it is going to be partnered with Nexon, because that means it will most likely be a free-to-play game, and it will most likely not be a full experience that I want from a game, of this seeming quality, I guess. But on the note of Embark, the company that the dude from the CEO of DICE became the CEO of this and bring people over from DICE, I find it fascinating that they're making this game. And then you said you forgot Arc Raiders, so we'll just look at that real quick. We're not going to watch it with the music on, though, because that's it's got a song that'll get us in trouble. But this was shown off Game Awards 2021. But this is the other game they're working on. And it's like a third-person co-op game. So it's really kind of fascinating to me that this dev is just working on two completely different games like this. And I remember you were interested in this. So was I when we originally saw it. So it seems like they're covering their bases almost. Like we're going to get the co-op people and we're going to get the competitive people. So really interesting just to kind of see what they're doing with that company. And I'm also interested in that. So we'll see what they do with both these games. I'm definitely interested in them. And yeah, anything else you want to say on the finals? All right. Well, let us know in the comments. What did you guys think of the finals? Anything you noticed that you want to bring up? Does this look like a game you want to play? What do you think they're going to do monetization-wise? Do you think it's going to be a premium game? Do you think it's going to be a free-to-play game? What do you think about the destructibility? Is there any details you've read that I did not cover? And what do you think about people from DICE leaving DICE to create this company and make two games at once? And what do you think about Arc Raiders? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Last video we're going to watch. We're going through these quick. Let me check what time. Oh, this might be a short taste cast, but that's fine. We got a lot of shit we got to film this week. The video is Wild Hearts, which got a reveal trailer 17 hours ago as of filming. And this apparently is a collaborative effort between EA and Koei Tecmo to make a Monster Hunter rival. Apparently, from what I read, people who worked on Tokaiden and Tokaiden 2 are working on this. So this is just another Monster Hunter game from them, which I think is really interesting. And it's interesting it's EA working with them, because like, what does EA make? Nothing. Unfinished games.
Lately, they don't make anything, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of crazy. So anyway, I've played Tokaiden 2 a little bit, but not a whole lot, honestly. It was kind of cool. So the idea of them making something is interesting, I guess. But do you have any interest in a Monster Hunter competitor outside of
I mean, I don't
free to play one?
I don't really. Oh, Dauntless. I didn't like Dauntless, but
yeah.
I mean, if it's a good game, yeah. I don't know what I'm getting into here, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just watch this so we can talk about it. This is Wild Hearts in 3, 2, 1, and go. Oh, it's interesting. It's going through EA Originals. That's normally like indie stuff.
Yeah, it's their indie program.
I like the visual style.
So, visitors to the land of the East. You do realize miasma is fraught with
This is
danger.
just straight up a Monster Hunter game. Though that monster's huge.
The kimono grow ever more desperate. They battle for territory. They clash for prey. But in you,
Here's about what that block is. It's like they, built this.
is the power to stop this. In you, there is the seed of invention. You need only hunt.
That's cool.
Trust that in so doing, the seed will soon grow.
I'd say it's
You
gotta
will
be co-op.
become a force of nature.
That's interesting. You have like equipment like that.
The magic cube that builds itself.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about though. I like how they're just like, we gotta just make really big monsters. That's our thing. Yeah, and I think I read said that they're going after like the crafting aspect. They didn't mention Monster Hunter, of course, because why would they when they're talking about their own game? But they said they just really wanted to make a game where crafting was the biggest element of it for progression. And yeah, outside of that, I don't know anything about this outside of what we saw, but it seems pretty straightforward. So what do we think?
So visually, it looks pretty cool. I like the style and the fantasy, feel of it or whatever. Outside of that, it's hard for me to have like a really hard opinion because a lot of it was just like snapshots of visuals, which were enjoyable, but they showed like almost zero combat, which is going to be the most important part of the game.
This is one of those times where I'm like, I just need to see some like unedited 5-minute combat gameplay.
Yeah, because you can make a Monster Hunter style game, and I welcome obviously anyone's take on a genre because like they could bring something to the table that doesn't exist, right? But all I got out of this was like the visual style, which again I said I do enjoy, and then the magic, for lack of a better term, Fortnite cube that you get that just makes random stuff. It seems gimmicky, but it could be fun. I don't want to judge too early on that. I think it's kind of dorky looking the way it works.
I like what it's doing, but I do also think it's kind of like where this builds a tower and things come out of the tower. I would almost rather you just bring that hammer contraption with you, plant it on the ground, and then does it, but not build up. It's an aesthetic thing for me, but yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you.
Yeah. Then yeah, I mean, just without seeing how it plays in like the game's like systems and stuff like that. It's gonna be hard to have a hard opinion, but I have a vague interest in it right now. So
yeah, that is kind of a thing that with all the stuff they are showing, they're showing a lot. Honestly, they're not showing the combat a whole lot. They're showing people swinging and then cutting to stuff. So I would like to see what the combat looks like without the jump cuts, because that's one of the best things about Monster Hunter. Is the way the combat feels, the
Agreed.
timing, the abilities you can use per weapon, stuff like that. The combat's awesome, mixed with these big crazy fights with these huge monsters, and there is bombs and traps you can leave on the ground. So there are like contraptions and stuff you can build in Monster Hunter. But the gameplay is key, and they've really got it down, especially with the last 2 iterations of Monster Hunter. And so. Yeah, if you want me to be like, as excited, maybe I need to see the combat being pretty decent, because like I didn't dislike Dauntless. I wasn't bored when I played it, when we had to play it. I think it was like Plus Club or something, I don't remember. But it was Game of the Month. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. We played it for the channel. But every time I played it, I just thought this is Monster Hunter Lite. It is a light version of it. Wasn't offering anything crazy that would make me want to choose that over just playing the excellent game that is Monster Hunter World or, Rise or whatever. And so there's room for the games like that. And this does definitely seem like it's offering some stuff. But yeah, if that combat's not that great, it's not going to keep me around for very long. But the game does look like it's of good quality. I am stoked that it is Koei Tecmo working on it and not like EA, because I have more faith in them, sadly, than EA, publishing it, essentially. It is a very interesting collaboration. But yeah, graphics look good. The monster design is interesting. They're almost mythological looking. They're not like, they're kind of scary looking, but like they're just like, they look like, I don't know, of myth and legend. I do like the Japanese samurai aesthetic. It seems like everybody kind of has that going on, so it's probably the theme of it. Monsters are huge. They all seem like they go from like a pretty decent size to gigantic. So that'll be interesting. But again, I need to see that combat to really have a strong opinion on what it's gonna be like to fight them. I do like that there are things you can bring in to use against them. Like all this looks awesome in terms of tools to use, but I am of the camp we just created, that box thing, I guess I'm gonna have to either play it or see it in action without the edits to maybe get sold on it. But as of right now, aesthetically, I don't think it's that cool looking. It's kind of weird to me that they all just come from that. But the guy in the trailer did show a little cube that he was holding, so maybe I don't know why they're doing it that way, but whatever. It's not a big deal. And the world looks cool. It looks really clean, and I like the Japanese aesthetic. So overall, it's definitely a game that I'm interested in, and I will keep an eye on it for sure. Because I feel like there should be more Monster Hunter games. There's not very many of them. There's Dauntless and Takaiden and the Final Fantasy one, which I wish I would make like a console modern version.
It's even hard to bring that one up because it's kind of like a one-off on a handheld. So
yeah, and it's really neat. But yeah, if they can make like a PS5 new one, like like legit premium graphics, that would be awesome. Because I think the emphasis on classes and that was really cool.
Yeah.
But it's a mobile game, so it's not the highest quality. But overall, this is looking really cool. I'm definitely interested in it, and I will definitely keep up with it. And yeah, it's cool to see the people who worked on Takaiden, as far as I know, working on essentially Takaiden 3, spiritual successor. But yeah. Anything else? All right. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Wild Hearts. Is there any info about this that we should know about? Let me know in the comments. What did you notice in the trailer that is something that has piqued your interest? What do you think about the box? Do you know anything about the box? Should we be excited for the box? What do you think about what comes out of the box? The hammer is pretty cool. I like that. It stretches back, hits people. What do you think about the aesthetic? What do you think about the monsters? What do you think about a game sharing the landscape of the genre that Monster Hunter has essentially created? Is there room for it? Do you want more games like this? Do you think no game's going to be able to compare to Monster Hunter, so why even try? I would disagree with that, but if that's your opinion, let's talk about it. And let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to Wild Hearts. But I think that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 173, I think it's 173. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check out our socials and streams, link down below. Check out our Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. Check out our Patreon if you'd like to support the channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. And I have TikTok, so if you'd like to see what I do over on TikTok, find me there. Tasty Luke Gaming, Tasty Senpai. I always forget one. It always says Tasty Gaming and Tasty Senpai. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure you could search both and find me. But yeah, find me there. And I've been Seth. And thank you for joining me, Chevy. And thank you, all of you, for joining us for this episode. And until the next episode, which will be Plus Club, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.